I know I look like a teenager with a star patch on my face, but it's to send a message. I'm wearing this shirt today because Mercury is very in shadow. It stations retrograde next Monday. And Mercury in his retrograde phase is Mercury in the underworld. One version of that translates to real life that doesn't sound very woo is Mercury as his psychopomp form is your consciousness, the part of your consciousness that persists after death. So think about, put that in your pipe and smoke it. I'm wearing this shirt because this is what the underworld looks like. I'm not kidding. It's this like tattered, this is my Pluto in Capricorn, Neptune in Pisces, doom metal, sleep shirt. But the underworld looks like this. It's like tattered and disgusting and just very like worn. I don't know what part of the underworld you're in. And if you're in a nicer neighborhood of the underworld, can you please tell me how to get there? Because I keep getting abducted to this part, the one that looks like this, where everything is just like torn and moth-eaten and unsettling. This week, we have Venus trining Saturn, the Sun squaring Neptune, so verify everything. And okay, and the what was I going to say? Verify everything, because there's a great fog hanging over us. Jody is here. Thank you so much for being here and for saying hello. It's really nice to see you here. Wow, that warms my heart. So we're going to talk about the week, and then we're going to do a Q&A. It always takes me a minute to get my bearings when I'm going live, because I don't have a sidekick, and I want to do everything. Okay, Oris. Hi, Oris. What's the deal? Let's see. What are we doing here? Oh, what is the great catastrophe that has occurred? Can you tell me? Because I don't. Normally, people just tell me the news. I don't look at my phone. So tell me what happened. I do study tropical astrology. I think the deal with people having, am I projecting? Is this, if you have a problem with tropical astrology, it's because you don't understand what it's looking at. The tropical zodiac is anchored to the equinoxes and the solstices. It's not some backwoods, we don't know what we're doing zodiac that is ignoring the precession of the equinoxes. So tell me more, I guess. And what else? Starting off, is it Mars hour, by the way? I don't have my planetary hour thing, so I don't even know, but it feels like Mars hour. So today, you didn't miss much today. This morning was cute. The moon sextiled Venus, and then the moon just applied to an opposition with Saturn most of the afternoon, and that went exact around 4, and now the moon is applying to a square with Mercury, and Mercury is very, very much in shadow. I don't know about your relationship with Mercury, but mine is such that the Mercury retrograde period is glitchy, but the shadow period for me is just as bad, I think. It depends on your relationship with Mercury. The shadow period is just as bad as the first part of Mercury retrograde. So my least favorite part of Mercury retrograde, the ones where you really have to like kind of watch your step, are the shadow period, which is the period while Mercury is transiting the degrees it's going to retrograde back through, and then when Mercury stations retrograde until the interior conjunction. Those are the worst parts for me. I don't know about you. By the last part of the retrograde, I'm kind of used to it. And it's not as bad. What else? Valentine's here. Hi. So let's see. Tropical astrology only works on paper. Yes, that's okay. So this is, I'm getting razzed by like a sidereal truther here. It must be Mars hour for me. So tropical astrology isn't about the stars. It's like a surface level pop culture understanding of astrology that astrology is about stars. Astrology is about orientation. It's our orientation on the planet Earth. And it's based on our relationship with the sun. So it's the seasons. Our relationship with the sun is the seasons. And this is why you need a time and location of birth. Locational horoscopic astrology is more accurate if you're using the tropical zodiac. I mean, that's kind of a crazy thing to say because obviously the Vedic tradition of horoscopic astrology, which does come from the Greeks, the Yavajanatika, I think, meant like the birth chart of the Greeks. So Hindu astrology has its own very rich ancient tradition, but the horoscopic tradition came from ancient Greece, and that's how we have Vedic astrology, which uses the sidereal zodiac. Anyway, I have a reel about this, saying that the sidereal zodiac and the tropical zodiac, it's like how you get an isometric drawing, like a drawing of a car. If you look at it from the back, it's like really small. But if you look at it from the side, it's like a long shape. And so bozos could argue about which angle is true, but we're both looking at the same thing. So there's that. Tropical astrology is not based on stars. That's correct. That's exactly right. Astrology is more about planets and Earth's relationships with the planets and the luminaries than it is about the stars, which are far away like other suns. Does that make sense? I think I'm going to stop there for now. Really, it's Mars hour. Mars is my ninth ruler. Oh, Jessica Pisces, my ancient Twitter name. Thank you. Thank you for pointing that out. Anyway. Okay, you can tell what my nakshatras are. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for knowing. Which ones? Arabic? Hindu? Okay. Let's see. Astrology is about stars. I get what you mean by the seasons, but the seasons don't even exist in reality. They literally only exist on a Roman calendar. Okay, so this is like a person who's trying to get me worked up. So we're just going to move on, because these are just like, I know more than you. Nobody knows more than anybody. Even like me doing astrology is saying like, oh, I'm telling you what's going on here, but mostly it's your responsibility to allow things to come into your consciousness yourself. So nobody knows more than anybody. But these comments about tropical astrology miss the point. So I think I'm getting negged, and we're going to ignore. And I hope that was satisfying for everybody. All right, so tomorrow. So right now the moon's applying to a square with Mercury. And Mercury's very stationing. And things are like getting chaotic. So in the parlance of the guy from Jurassic Park, hold on to your butts. The moon's square, so most of the day on Tuesday, I'll take that back. The first half of Tuesday is the moon is still squaring Mercury, as it is right now. So just get comfortable in that paradigm. Like we're getting used to like the Mercury retrograde paradigm that's coming, that's bringing a lot. And then the second half of Tuesday is the moon in Libra squaring Jupiter in Cancer. So one of the last aspects, it's not the last, but we're getting down to like the bottom of the barrel, which could be the best, of the moon aspecting Jupiter in Cancer. And that's most of the day on Tuesday. And if you're up late night, like if you're at the after party on Tuesday, the moon moves into Scorpio, and then the moon's opposing Chiron, which, like, I keep saying this, I keep having like self-aware moments about, I put Chiron on my transit list on like the dynamic job that makes my list of transits. And so now this year I'm talking about Chiron. And I guess that's appropriate because it's my Chiron return. So now you know how old I am. Not exactly. That won't be for a while, but like Chiron and Taurus. So looking forward to that. So something I'm thinking, it's Chiron and Taurus in my third. So something I'm thinking is that I'm going to get embarrassed for something I say. There's going to be some sort of like embarrassing healing. I like to say Chiron heals by embarrassing you. And that's an oversimplification, but it does like, it's like a very special, particular type of pain that Chiron brings that like even I ain't seen nothing yet with my Chiron return in the chamber. It's ready to go. It's locked and loaded, but it hasn't popped off yet. That's going to be a little while. So easy for me to say Chiron heals by embarrassing you, but it does. So I'm thinking it's Chiron in my third and it's in Taurus. So I think I have to like, and my name is Harmony, and I can't sing. I've always wanted to know how to sing. So I think I have to do that. I think I just have to like charge head first into something really embarrassing. Because otherwise I'm going to get embarrassed in a way that I don't like. So watch out for that. I'm going to be more cringe. Anyway, the moon, Wednesday, like around midnight Pacific time. All the times I give are Pacific time, by the way. So on Wednesday, like midnight Pacific time, the moon opposes Chiron. And then the moon is headed for a square with Pluto. So, okay. I'm getting the deer in headlights thing that I do. Hopefully you like that if you're here. So yeah, the after party on Tuesday is complicated. It's a little more gut-wrenching. It's the moon in Scorpio. It's opposing Chiron in Taurus. A new, making new contact with Chiron in a new realm. Chiron's going to move back into Aries. I think it's later this year. Yeah, whatever. We have a few months of Chiron in Taurus. Then we'll experience Chiron in Aries for a little while longer, and then we'll be totally done with that. And the toxic masculinity will be in full force, like in a good way, in a fun, entertaining way. Kind of like the America UFC fight on the lawn. Like, I think no matter what your political leanings, which politics are beneath me, so right now, because Pluto's in Aquarius, so it's just all about like division and games and, politics in terms of like people banding together to genuinely get what they want and affect change. Of course, that's beautiful. That's not beneath me. But politics right now is beneath me because all it is like, which side are you on? And both of those sides are beneath many of us. But it's hard to it's hard to say, hey, there's something kind of satisfying and fun after everything that like Aries, the sign of Aries, has been through and Chiron in Aries has been through. We can see the end. The stuff that happened on the White House lawn is like the product of many transits going on exactly right now. But one of the things that is Chiron at the end of Aries and like the rise of toxic masculinity in a fun way. So for me to say that, you might like, if you're like on one end of things, you might think that someone once told me that if I'm not all the way left, then I'm far right. And it's just like, well, being all the way anything is kind of bonkers. I don't need to get into that. Everybody here knows politics are beneath me. Anyway, so the moon is opposing Chiron in Taurus. Chiron, excuse me. Just wearing my like droopy underworld shirt. And I'm sitting on a very squeaky stool. Okay, so Tuesday is pretty simple. First part of Tuesday, Mercury retrograde. Second part of Tuesday, go to bed early and you'll get inspiring, if like maybe hard to like it might be hard to like make a choice. It's like there's like inspiration and a feeling of energy and protection and resources going on, but you might have to like choose between the resources and the inspiration and like spending quality time with someone, maybe, or whatever. So that's the second half of Tuesday. And then just go to bed early on Tuesday, because the after party, late night Tuesday, is a little more complicated. So the moon squares Pluto exactly 9:30 a.m. Wednesday. So talk about complicated. That's the fallen moon squaring Pluto in Aquarius. It's like it's like spy versus spy. It's just like a bit much. You might want to like disassociate or like just enjoy some like subconscious repression. Just do it. Just like put it out of your mind. Don't think about it. On Wednesday. I'm joking, of course, but that's always an option. Thursday. Okay, so all day Wednesday is the moon applying to a square with Venus, because all of that complicated stuff happens in the morning, Pacific time on Tuesday. Wednesday. I have one job at Say the Right Words. So, what else? Oh, Valentine, the purple. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I got my lights working again. They weren't working for a really long time. Literally zero of my technology has been working, and I'm slowly getting it to work again. It's been hilarious. Okay, so Wednesday, most of the day on Wednesday is just the moon applying to a square with Venus in Leo. So that's kind of fun. Expect Wednesday to be mostly all right. And then this technically happens on Thursday, but it's going to be, it goes exact Thursday, like early morning. And so it's mostly like coming to a close, peaking on Wednesday, although you may have noticed it like coming down the road a little bit like end of last week and even right now. So Venus is trining Saturn, and the conjunction of Venus with Saturn was on March 8th. And wow, what did I do with my what did I do to my notes? So that's kind of like the beginning of a story. The Venus-Saturn conjunction was on March 8th. And the Venus-Saturn square was on May 28th. So this is a trine. So Venus-Saturn, I think of like managing expectations. That's a lot of what it is. What are we? We want to like make it clear what this is so that everybody's happy, so we're not subject to like secret rules that then like someone breaks and the other person gets mad because they broke the secret rules, but the other person who broke them didn't know what the rules were. Can you tell I have a lot of my astrology in a place that's kind of about this. So I lost my place in my notes. So, okay. The conjunction, the beginning of this story, was March 8th. The square, which was a more like frictive, difficult time in the story, was on May 28th. And now we're having a little bit of an easier time with the Venus-Saturn expectations, commitments. What does this commitment mean? And Venus, if Venus is your activated planet or you're a very Venusian person, Venus is in Leo right now. So Venus expects to just be accepted on her own terms. And Saturn is keeping things in place. It's Saturn in Aries, so it's like keeping rules or whatever, the way things work, the conventions in place for longer than they're useful. that's what kind of like Saturn in Aries, in the middle of Aries, is doing. It's like, these are the rules, even though they were designed a long time ago for a completely different world. So Saturn in Aries in this way is like kind of clinging to, like, it can even be minor. It doesn't have to be that deep, but it's just like kind of clinging to the way things used to be, or the way you think they should be, based on like stuff from the past that's not really relevant, and so it seems kind of unfair. But right now, somehow that's helpful, and it's like a temporary access to something better. So, and even though Mercury is very, very in shadow, this is a time for like, okay, these are the expectations. This decision doesn't need revisiting, although like all decisions are going to get revisited. But in terms of like relating and expectations, we can agree on something that's obvious. And that's really nice. So you don't even need me to tell you about Venus trining Saturn, because you're already probably feeling it, because a trine is like, it just happens. Give me a second. I have a lot of Pisces, so anytime I drink water, I feel like it's just like a loud cartoon Frutiger arrow fish bubbles. Okay, so Mercury's in shadow. Venus trine Saturn is like, right now, just kind of like formalizing something that both parties already know is correct. And it's like committing to a direction, even though like all directions are going to go crazy, honestly. Very soon. Things are about to get very chaotic. So Venus in Leo is very glamorous, and Saturn in Aries can be itself once it like clears away the cobwebs, or like knocks down some walls that other people built. So have you done that if you're Saturn? Yeah, so this is like, I'm forcing explaining this because it doesn't need to be forced. This doesn't force anything. Venus trine Saturn. So that goes exact. Early Thursday morning. And I just need like, I saw something a long time ago. Duncan Trussell said that he was having ChatGPT tell him how to build a robot so he could have a robot ChatGPT like talking to him. And I wish I had that, because so much of my chart is built to talk to someone else, where I'm literally a completely different person when I'm like talking to someone versus me just like on camera talking to you like a news anchor. It's mostly just like, I make a teleprompter for myself. I'll read everything on the teleprompter. I'm like Ron Burgundy. So yeah. Deer in headlights. Okay. So that's Venus trining Saturn. The Sun squaring Neptune hang on. I'm getting a weird error message. Let's see. Ugh. Dead silence. Live streaming. Okay. So the Sun is squaring Neptune, and the Sun conjoined Neptune. The Sun conjoined Neptune on March 22nd, 2026, at 1 degrees 50 arc minutes of Aries. And the sun will oppose Neptune on September 25th. So this is like the middle of a story. And okay. Lock in. That's funny, I'm getting like confused and disoriented, and I have like multiple live stream things, and I'm seeing like old comments on this. Like Valentine said Jon Snow. Why are you I don't even remember what that was in reference to, but that threw me off. Haven't heard that name in a really long time. So maybe my Pluto and Capricorn, Neptune and Pisces dragon shirt has invited that reference. Okay, so it will require some effort to recognize what's going on with the sun squaring Pluto. And so the sun is like very attuned to what it needs from others. But did I say squaring Pluto? I meant squaring Neptune. The sun is very attuned to what it needs from others. And Neptune in Aries is kind of like this moving phantom target that's designed for you to like it wants you to shoot at something. Man, my comment feed is like all messed up. I feel like I'm getting comments from like, okay, I'm talking about the sun squaring Neptune. The moon right now is squaring Mercury, which is very in shadow, and I have just pulled up a live stream just to make sure it's working on another computer. I have like 3 screens in front of me, and I've just discovered that my little comments thing, my comments ometer, is not working. Let me see if I can get it working. I'm like trapped in an underworld of old comments. Let's see. Just enjoy this silent moment. Close your eyes for 30 seconds. Stop scrolling, stop thinking, and just be here with me for a minute. Yeah, I know, stay focused. From the Hip is telling me to stay focused. I'm having a really difficult time with that right now. Oh, okay, the Jon Snow thing was... Okay. I got it. Valentine, Wednesday is your birthday. You will be 500 million years old. Well, happy birthday, Valentine. What profection is that? 500 million. Salisis, my perspective is very insightful. Thank you. Thank you for saying that. That's very kind. Okay. Oh, Salisis would like to know more about the purple star. It's to send a message, that's all. If you're the person who needs to know that, then you know what the message is. Okay. Yeah. I was in commentception. Yes, I was. Okay. Now I'm going to get after it, talking about the sun squaring Neptune. So if the sun is self-governance, Neptune is like, it's a square of the Neptune, so it's like a fog machine. And oh, Valentine, you don't know what no, I said a profection. So annual profections, I have reels about this. What does one of them look like? If you, let's see. I can't think of what the cover of one of my reels about annual profections looks like. I think maybe if you look for like I think I have a few reels that say birthday magic. No, that's not it. That's not about annual perfections. Man, the moon is really squaring Mercury because I can't hold it together. This is like, it cannot carry a thread. I need someone to talk to, but I'm telling you about the weekly astrology, so I can't talk to anyone while I do that. I think I want to like switch to live streams that are just where I just talk to you. We just do away with me talking about the astrology, me doing anything, just talking. I'm not one of those people who's meant to just like, here, I'm going to talk to you forever. And I could just keep talking and it's just by myself. Like, that's not, if you look at my astrology, you would laugh at me trying to do that. I'm supposed to talk to other people. So, okay, Valentine. Annual profections is a timing technique that you have to use with whole sign houses. And if you like scroll way, way down, like a really, Salisa, thank you for telling me and doing great. I really appreciate that. That actually helps me get on track, believe it or not. So I think like if you scroll way down, you'll see a reel that I did on my Instagram that it says astrology hack. And I have a couple like that. But this one has like, it's like me standing. It's like one of my full body, like it's me standing green screen. And there's like a starry ceiling. It's a cathedral ceiling that looks like stars. So it's like a blue starry background, but like light blue and bright stars. And it says astrology hack. And it's about annual profections. So you have to use whole sign houses. And it's basically like each year of your life, birthday to birthday, is about something different. And that's based on the houses in astrology. So you're in like a second house year, then the year will be about like income that you earn for yourself and the food that you eat, etc. And so you can count like the first year of your life, you're in a first house year. So when you're 0, and then when you turn 1, you're in a second house year. And it just goes around and around and around. So that's what that is. Anyway, the sun squares Neptune on Thursday afternoon, Pacific time. And you can feel it right now. So even if you do just decide to meditate all day on Thursday, you're probably going to be confused. And that's just a part of it. So Neptune, if the sun is like illuminating things, Neptune is fog. And you know, like fog lights are not brighter. That makes it worse. So you have to kind of dim it. So these things are at odds. It's like trying to make things obvious versus the sun is like, it is what it is. And because literally the sun, things mean what they mean in astrology because of what they are. So the sun is, it is what it is. If you look at it in the sky, that's exactly what it is. It's a big burning ball. Whereas the moon is like, it's this illuminated, mysterious, like sometimes it's a crescent, sometimes it's a full circle, sometimes it's not even there. And it is a round orb, like a rock covered in reflective sand, and it's reflecting the light of the sun. So the moon is about like this, like concealing and revealing and reflecting the light. The sun just is what it is. It's just like a burning ball of gas, burning brightly in the heavens, and we're far enough away from it where it offers like a warm light. Anyway, all of that to say, the sun is what it is, and it wants to like illuminate things and show you what they are. And Neptune, the sun squaring Neptune is like at odds with that. So even like anything you're trying to do, it's just going to have to be like imaginative and kind of like in the way. And something that Neptune in Aries does is like present this like phantom target that like wants you to gun it down. It like wants you to be mad. It's like zealot. That's like a good word. Overzealous. What's his problem? Like being pissed off, and it's kind of for dumb reasons or like misguided reasons. And I say dumb reasons not from a place of judgment, because like I am just as subject to these influences as you are. So anyway, um, what else? What else do I have to say about the sun squaring Neptune? I don't think that. So there's like the sun that wants to know. Sun wants to like illuminate things and make things clear. And the sun in Cancer wants to, especially early Cancer, wants to help make things clear enough to forge relationships so that everybody can get what they need. So that the sun can give its warm light to the right places, and so that the right beings can find it. And Neptune in Aries is like, doesn't know the difference between right and wrong. It's presenting like something that's cosplaying as like scary or quote unquote bad or evil. And Neptune doesn't even know or care what evil is. It's just like, I'm wearing the carnivore costume today. I'm wearing the warrior costume today. I'm wearing the like offensive, toxic masculinity warrior thing. And I just want you to shoot at it. And the bullets are going to go right through me because I'm transparent. I'm Neptune. You can't even touch me. It's just like kind of a mess. So that's Thursday. And that's applying right now. And it goes exact on Thursday afternoon. The second half of Thursday, the moon applies to a trine with Mercury, retrograde. So that's a little like what's going on right now, except maybe a little easier. Maybe like the difficulties are a little more whimsical. So, oh, and then something else I wrote in my notes about the sun squaring Neptune is like, especially with Mercury in shadow about to station retrograde, just maybe slow down. It's okay to go slow. I'm going to check in with the comments. I need a break. Valentine, you're having a bunch of natal returns this year, like Jupiter. Oh, your Jupiter return. Oh my gosh. That's really exciting. Jupiter return is a fun transit. I'm excited for you. Whatever's going on, even if it doesn't feel cool now, you'll look back and think that, wow, that was a cool time. Okay, so Friday. The moon enters Sagittarius on Friday afternoon. But before that, Friday morning, so Thursday night, Friday morning, Thursday night the moon is trining Mercury. So we're getting more of that like Mercury retrograde stuff, except it's like not as difficult as it is right this minute at the time of recording. And then the moon goes opposite Mars early Friday morning, or like early afternoon, or like late morning if you're on the east coast of North America. And this is Mars at the very end of Taurus. So something I keep thinking about with Mars conjoining Uranus, next week, at the end of the week, right? Because, next Friday is like, the end of Taurus is kind of like an explosive, surprising place where it's just like, oh, well, you did all this planning and there's the way that nature is supposed to go. And then things didn't work out that way. There's like a surprise thunderbolt. So that's very interesting given Mars is about to leave Taurus and then conjoin Uranus in Gemini. So this is a very like, Lisa, you're saying the last aspect of the moon to exalted Jupiter is from Scorpio? Wait, no. We have like a little while, right? Because, no, we don't. It's like right now. That's so crazy. I keep thinking that like Mercury is so retrograde. I'm like the worst. I'm the worst guide today. Do you want to listen to me ramble? Yeah. Wow, you're so right, Salizis. The last aspect of the moon with Jupiter before Jupiter goes into Leo is on Friday. And it's that trine. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. You've been overly nostalgic about it already. Yeah. Yes. Me too. It was so nice. It was really, really great. It's been great. Whatever the Jupiter parts of your life are, there's been a lot of support. There's also been a lot of like danger in the world. So it's almost like protection from danger. Okay, great. So we're back to where we started. That's a little bit how I've been feeling, and not in an ungrateful way at all. Like so grateful. Sometimes it's nice to experience gratitude for being able to take risks. So yeah, the last aspect of the moon with Jupiter before it moves into Leo, I'll be darned, is Friday at 10:10 a.m. Pacific time. What are my thoughts about the Barbo basket stuff? It's AI. It's like, have you been doing this? Like the stuff I've been doing with AI is insane. I can't believe it. There are things that I like, and then like, yeah, I think like I was about to start talking about myself, like what the Barbo basket is, but that is not relevant to any of you. But on the whole, like we're in this world with all this scary war and conflict, chaos stuff happening. At the same time, I am able to do things. There's stuff that I wished I had an assistant for in the past that now I do. And I'm just slowly building a system so where I have like little assistants. That's crazy. And it's beautiful right now. I don't know when, it's kind of like when I was using Fable last week or whatever. Like, I don't know when it's going away, but I'm going to use it as much as I can. And I'm so glad that I did because it went away way sooner than I thought. So that's what I think. The Barbo basket is AI and the productivity it affords right now in its early stage before like everybody's using it. So yeah. Okay. So we get that last aspect, the moon in Scorpio trining Jupiter in Cancer, and then the moon moves into Sagittarius, which is much more fun, even though it was very fun while Jupiter in Cancer lasted. So, and Jupiter moves into Cancer on Monday, and Mercury stays in retrograde on Monday. Okay, so the moon moves into Sagittarius. The moon immediately opposes Uranus, foreshadowing, because Mars is going to conjoin Uranus next week, and Mars moves into Gemini in a couple of days. So Friday night might be a little surprising or just something out of the ordinary. Getting away from the routine. Excuse me. The moon trines Neptune on Friday night also. Man, I can barely communicate today. I wish I could just like communicate with you telepathically today, or maybe for days like this I should have like a whiteboard where I could just draw channel symbols to you, and you would get the right people would get the point. So the moon opposes Uranus on Friday night, trines Neptune, and sextiles Pluto. And all of those planets, so that happens in rapid succession, which means that all of those planets and those planets happen to be in signs that are not averse. Nobody's averse to anyone. So all of those planets are aspecting each other. So it's kind of like the moon on Friday touches the future. The future that's coming very rapidly. The present. It's basically July. July is so crazy. I wish I had up my little calendar. So in July we have like for perspective, I've said this before, but if you're new, for perspective, recently we've had like 1 to 2, maybe 3 major outer planet transits. So outer planets move very slowly. So when they connect with each other, that you can normally see like what kind of like special moment in time that is, or what it signifies. This year, just in July, we have Uranus sextile Neptune, which like the last time Uranus was, I mean, it's like a long-term transit. There was one, I think there was one last summer, and that was like Merge Labs. That's what I'm connecting that to. Anyway, so the last era, because Uranus sextile Neptune is sort of like a little era. It's going to happen a few times because the planets go retrograde and go direct. Anyway, the last little era of Jupiter sextile Neptune, Uranus sextile Neptune was in the 60s. Uranus and Virgo sextile Neptune and Scorpio. And there was a lot of going to space stuff around then. And so then Uranus trines Pluto. Uranus and Gemini trines Pluto in Aquarius in July. And Jupiter trines Neptune, and Jupiter opposes Pluto, and Jupiter sextiles Uranus, and Neptune sextiles Pluto, and Saturn stations retrograde, which happens every year. And the nodes shift into Aquarius and Leo. And then we have the full moon in Aquarius. And that's July. By the way, July is crazy. Why was I even talking about that? Oh, because on Friday the moon aspects all those planets just within a few hours of each other. Friday late night, and most of Saturday is characterized by the moon trining Saturn. It's Saturn in Aries, so it might like feel kind of heavy, but not too much to deal with. And just like do some planning and organizing, and roll your sleeves up and do what you need to do. And then on Saturday also we have something nice. Mars sextiles Jupiter. So Mars in Taurus is like having courage and under genuinely just conditions that are quite taxing. And Jupiter at the end of Cancer is like, has abundance to offer. Very cliche word for that. And it doesn't take away from anybody. So Mars in Taurus is getting like, it's almost like, it makes you think of, and this isn't like, it's just my association. So it's not like really in the astrology math, but so, like when you're in PE class, or like I was a cheerleader, and you would like put your hand like this, and then the person would step into your hand and you boost them up. That's what this feels like. And you can like take that. It's a sextile. Mars is sextiling Jupiter in Cancer. So it's optional whether or not you want to receive the support. But it is like, so the last time the moon aspects Jupiter is on Friday when the moon's still in Scorpio. And then the last planetary aspect with Jupiter is this Mars sextile Jupiter. So a nice grand finale for a beautiful year of Jupiter in Cancer. Jupiter will transit Cancer again in 12 years. And this has been the sign of Jupiter's exaltation. So the best of the best. Let's see. So there's like a mutual gain thing going on with Jupiter at the end of Cancer. And Mars in Taurus is just like plugging away. One of my teachers used the term a lot, up-trekking in the mud. That's very Mars and Taurus. Or like spinning the wheels and like splashing mud everywhere and not going anywhere. It's that kind of feeling. So this Mars sextiles Jupiter offers, like briefly, Jupiter's like Jupiter goggles, Jupiter vision for like getting through this last part of Taurus. And it really is the last part because Mars moves into Gemini at noon on Sunday. And this Mars sextile Jupiter goes exact around 10 p.m. Saturday night Pacific time. Okay. So anyway, it's like efforts are stalled with Mars and Taurus. And Jupiter's here to like break the tension or something. Whatever, like, maybe there's like a lot of pent up stuff with Mars, and it's like Jupiter in Cancer allows like a release and maybe like turns it all into candy or something, turns it into a cornucopia. What else? And it's also like an action that requires nerve or like courage. If you go ahead and do it, it's going to require courage. It will be bolstered and supported. So if you're Mars in some situation and you're really feeling those like trying, slow down conditions, things are about to change, and you do have an opportunity to, like, if you're wondering whether or not to do something that feels not a little dicey, but it's kind of like start before you're ready. I guess Mars will be ready the moment it moves into Gemini, but maybe start before you're ready. And that's kind of what this like Mars sextile Jupiter thing is. So that kind of applies to all of this week, where like before you're ready is before Mars moves into Gemini. When Mars moves into Gemini, you're getting a swift kick in the pants because you're ready. But if this week you start before you're ready, there is a possibility of even more support and success. And it might even be like some protection against whatever craziness or unexpected stuff throws off whatever your plans are. Because whatever all of our plans are in the world, they're going to change with whatever happens on July 4th. So this is like take the opening with Mars sextile Jupiter. So Lisa's, this Mars sextile Jupiter aspects your Venus at 29 Scorpio. Yeah. Oh, wait. Okay. That was, okay. Great. Yeah. Do it. Do you have something that, yeah, I'm glad you're excited for this. I love that. That sounds fun. Jupiter in Cancer aspecting Venus at the end of Scorpio. Mars opposing your Venus. Like, it does sound complicated, but in like a fun way. I'm so curious what that's about. Please report back. Oh, Tanner's here. Hello. Oh, mildly scared, but also down and a little scared. Yeah, well, me too about literally every single thing in astrology. Just like a part of being an astrologer, I think, is just like not. So when I first went down the astrology rabbit hole, my partner at the time was like, you didn't do this to get more scared. So things are usually like, man, I can't speak. So I already have a problem where like I sound drunk when I talk. I'm not. I don't even enjoy alcohol, not even casually, not even ever. But I'm having a particularly terrible time speaking, and I'm not enjoying it. I'm kidding. Anyway, so Lisa, don't be scared. Easy for me to say. I'm always scared all the time. So it's okay to be scared. Let the fear... how do we let fear affect us positively? Like, move us into acting the way we think we should? How can we allow the fear to point to what we need to change in ourselves? Remind me to play this back for myself in 2 days when I'm like shivering under the covers awaiting whatever Mars and Gemini has in store. We have a question by P-Toll. Am I saying your name right? How do you define aspecting? And how do you read the energy of aspects? So in regards to the energy of aspects, I would just look up, first of all, I only use the Ptolemaic aspects. So conjunction, opposition, sextile, square, and trine. Those are the only ones. I don't look at anything else. And the energy of those can easily be found online. Just look up the 5 major aspects or the 5 Ptolemaic aspects. And those are the energy. And those come from a place. They're not just assigned all willy-nilly. They have their own internal logic of why it means that and why like light, looking at other light from certain angles signifies a certain type of interaction. So I guess that's one thing is like it's the energy first off is an interaction. It's like 2 lights seeing each other in a different way, and that the aspect, the angle, is the quality of the interaction. I guess that's how I would define aspecting also. It's like in the ancient texts, it's like about viewing or like passing by. So it's just like the angle that the beings, the planetary beings, are seeing each other from. And that's all that astrology is just like light from different angles in your location. So, and the locations of other things. It's all about orientation. Again, going back to the beginning of this, not so much about stars, more about orientation. Stars are a part of orientation, obviously. Did I answer your question adequately? If you have follow-up questions, let me know. I'm going into like fake mode where I'm like, hello, did I answer your question? I'm trying to be more real on camera. That's really hard also by myself with so many, I have so much astrology that is about talking to other people. And also I think that's not like, it's not so much a coping mechanism for me being bad at talking by myself, because obviously you've seen me here doing that over and over again. I'm getting a little bit better at it. But it's also nice to have astrology to say like, oh, I'm not totally doing it wrong. I'm not just like an idiot for not being able to be amazing at talking on camera, even after being on camera for 5 years now. It's just, I'm built to talk to other people. So eventually I'll like invite someone on my show. Okay, Tanner, when is that opening happening? I would like to take scaredy cat action. Oh, the opening I was speaking of was Mars sextile Jupiter. That goes exact on Saturday night, just before 10 p.m. So basically it's all this week. Take that action because it goes exact. And then Mars moves right into Gemini. So Lisa is scared, but in an aroused way. That is funny for Venus and Scorpio. I like that. Okay, P-Toll, interesting. Oh, tall. Okay, tall. Got it. Okay, that's funny. Never knew the aspect elements of tall. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm going to put resources in the comments later for that, of why they're called the Ptolemaic aspects. Van Flowers is here and likes the Star Patch. Thank you. Theatrics of the Absurd. I love your name. And thank you for telling me I'm doing great. Never complain, never explain. Okay, tall. I answered it enough. Okay, good. For you to want to look into it way more. Great. Oh, thank you. I sound like a normal person. I assure you I'm not. I'm just kidding. It always feels weird to talk out loud for a while without feedback. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for validating that. Because it is weird. We're social beings. Like the skill of being able to speak on camera with nobody around is so specialized. Like it's really particular people who are great at it. And then a lot of people, I'm just like, I'm a normal human. I'm not a freak like these freaks who can just talk on camera. I'm kidding. Wonderful freaks. I envy. Like I'm saying it from a place of jealousy that I wish I had that skill. Valentine, thank you. Thank you for telling me I'm doing great. And I agree. It's fun to hang out. Thank you for being here. It makes it funner. Okay, so the grand finale of what I have to say about this week is that Mars is moving into Gemini on Sunday. So we'll just get a leg up on talking about it now. And then next week I can refer you to this part of the live stream, this part of this video today, to talk about, like, if you have questions on, I don't know why I'm telling you this, because you're here watching this. Okay, give me 1 second. I'm really thirsty. Theatrics of the absurd. It takes a lot of courage to talk to randoms live on the internet. I don't know how streamers do it. Oh, thank you. I mean, yeah, thank you very much. It is. It does take a lot. And the thing I've come to realize is that it's way scarier when, like, nobody's commenting. So thank you for commenting, because it ends up being the fun part, talking to the randoms, and not, instead of just like speaking into the void. So I'm always very grateful that anybody's here. Thank you for being here. Okay, I'll stop. All that self-aware commenting, and we'll talk about Mars and Gemini. So I have a video from a long time ago where I did kind of like a Blair Witch hacker thing about Mars and Gemini. I think if you scroll far enough down on my YouTube channel, it's like you should basically just go to the very beginning and then go up from there, because I think it's like September or August of 2022. It just says Mars and Gemini, and there's like twins. There's like an evil twin with horns and like a halo. And it's when I was doing my black and white thumbnails, which I might go back to. And Mars Uranus is on the Pleiades. Oh, yeah. And wait a minute. Yeah, it is at the bendings, technically. If we're doing degree based, then it is. Yeah, totally chill. Exactly. I didn't think about how it's on the Pleiades. So that means that this Mars sextile Jupiter occurs on Algol, which is interesting for like the protection aspect, but that's not for the faint of heart. So just ignore that if you don't know what I'm talking about. Okay, so Mars and Gemini, go watch that video. It's fun. My commentary on it, much of it is like kind of expired a little bit, but not really. So I think you'll have fun if you just go back and watch it. So find it. I had fun making it. I should go back to making more videos like that. So anyway, Mars in Gemini is historically significant for the United States when Uranus is in Gemini, because the United States was founded during a Mars-Uranus conjunction in Gemini, and the Revolutionary War popped off during a Mars-Uranus conjunction in Gemini, and the okay, I'm just reading my notes. This is my Ron Burgundy thing where I'll just read whatever's on the teleprompter. So I was thinking Civil War, but obviously the Revolutionary War resulted in the founding of the United States. So the Civil War happened under Mars, Uranus in Gemini, and also Neptune in Aries, which we have now. And we dropped the nuclear bomb on Hiroshima during a Mars-Uranus conjunction in Gemini. So it's things that reshape what it means to be the United States. So another big change is coming. It's not like more of the same, like, whoa, that's crazy and everything is the same. No, it's very, it's a transformative time. And whatever happens now during this Mars-Uranus conjunction, man, I didn't write down the dates of all the conjunctions, but the conjunction is next week, so just note to self. I gotta write down the dates of all of the Mars-Uranus conjunctions in Gemini. But basically, now through August 11th, and then every 2 years, for about 6 weeks, until 2032, is like this arc of transformation in the United States. So everybody's saying, all the astrologers anyway are saying something's going to happen on the 4th of July because Mars conjoins Uranus. Exactly. On the night, Pacific time, on the night of July 3rd, 2026. So we know something surprising is going to happen because it's significant for the United States. And I don't think it won't be like the, J.R. Sandoval thanks me for doing these lives. Thank you for being here. Thank you for thanking me. It's hard to fathom that anyone would enjoy this. I don't know why I'm being so self-deprecating. Anyway, thank you. Thank you so much for saying that. Okay, so what was I saying? I don't think that, so what I was saying about what my position on Saturn conjoining Neptune is that we won't know what that is, except we kind of do now. Because it's Saturn conjoining Neptune, so it's secret. And Saturn conjoining Neptune is about secret stuff. This, I don't think, is going to be very secret. I think, anyway, what I'm getting at is that even if this isn't dropping a nuclear bomb or whatever, like the US doing something epically stupid or some sort of crazy thing happening, something will happen that is a part of the story, the ongoing story from now until 2032. Obviously something significant is going to happen if it's not like the main significant event, because Mars is going to conjoin Uranus a few times from now until 2032 throughout, because Uranus takes about 7 to 8 years to transit a sign. Anyway, so like, for instance, the Revolutionary War, it wasn't just like one event, one conjunction. It's like constellated around Uranus transiting Gemini, and then when Mars comes through for 6 weeks every 2 years. And then we didn't drop like a bomb on Japan, and we didn't drop a nuclear bomb every single time Mars conjoined Uranus and Gemini in the 40s. So anyway, if this isn't the big main thing, it's something. So something will happen. And hopefully it's the end of the Mad Dragon King. Which one? I feel like that's all, that's kind of all world leaders right now. Last week I was doing a thing about Akatuna napkin. Akatu napkin. Am I saying your thing right? Has complimented me on my bindi twice, which I love. Yeah, it's like off-center bindi. Thank you. I lost my train of thought. Whatever. I think I was talking about how last week I was thinking about doing a series about how I want to do a series about being compassionate about billionaires or like other people that are supposed to be hated popularly, but they're all literally just people. Not yeah. Yes, they're all dragon kings. Okay. Well, I understand where you're coming from, silly as this. I can't advocate for anyone to like lose their lives. But I see what you're saying. There's much frustrating behavior going on that results in people wishing things were different. And they're people, but also mad dragons. Yeah. I mean, I could be a mad dragon when I want to be, or even when I don't want to be. So I can't. It's hard for me to. I'm in a glass house. I cannot throw any stones. I do understand the frustration with everything that's going on. Everything seems pretty crazy. All the choices being made. But like, hey, the thing I was saying last week was that, exactly. Thank you for the, halo emoji. That's the mask I'm putting on right now. Mask doesn't have, I don't like the word mask because it like connotes artificiality. What I was saying was, what I was saying last week was that, okay, everybody's making insane choices, choices that look really dumb politically, like political leaders. But the thing I always think about when I like try to put myself in their position is like, you don't get to be a leader of like a big country without being kind of entrenched in, unless you do like some sort of coup and you take it by force and then everybody's playing by your rules. If you come up like the Capricorn way, like through the system, through following the rules, you become like beholden to others and you have all these connections and alliances that are like all things that like your people don't even necessarily know about. So I think a lot of decisions that look stupid or like I would do it differently, it's like, well, I don't know if, and I'm not, Salisa, I'm not saying this to you, I'm just kind of going off in general. It's my favorite thing to go off on. I went off on it last week, so clearly I like to hear myself talk about it. That, if you're in a position of leadership like that, there are so many like, in the parlance of the Museum of Jurassic Technology, the world is bound by hidden knots. Anyway, okay, so Mars in Gemini. Now through August 11th, it's going to be a big deal. It's basically like Mercury retrograde all of July. Jupiter moves into Leo. The nodes move into Leo and Aquarius. All those crazy aspects I mentioned earlier. That's like the spotlight is on this like transformation of the United States. And it could be scary, it could be surprising, it could be, I don't know what it's going to be. That's the point. It's Mars Uranus, so nobody knows what it's going to be. Out of left field. Or maybe like so out of left field that is predictable, who knows. Anyway, so April through June of 2032, which is kind of like the end, like this is like the first period of this Mars in Gemini, Mars transiting Gemini every 6 weeks Mars transiting Gemini for 6 weeks, every 2 years for the next 7 years. And the last segment of time like that is April through June of 2032. And just so you know, that's the exact Pluto return of the US Constitution, which is probably, I think the conversation around that is going to be like, we're going to replace traditional legal structures and maybe even like the Constitution with like a smart contract system, like a blockchain smart contract system or something similar of like automating things. But I don't know, so much is going to happen between now and then that maybe that'll happen beforehand. But it is the Pluto return of the US Constitution, and Pluto corrupts what it touches. So I think there will be like a conversation that is in part born of some sort of corruption. And that's not a conspiracy theory. That's what Pluto is. So, let's see. Tanner is trying to get a patron for their art. So if you are a billionaire, please check out Tanner. I hope that doesn't feel like I'm putting you on blast. I want to see your art. Is your avatar your art? Because I like that little drawing. Okay. So the July 4th transit sounds kind of intense. Yes, that's an understatement. It's a pretty intense transit. Okay. What were we doing? What is my role here? I hope you're like cleaning your house or doing something productive and you're just hanging out with me and you're not just like waiting and taking notes and wanting this to be really structured. Anyway, can you tell I still don't know how to live stream? I still don't know how to just hang out. I'm still insisting on doing something what I want to do is maybe a second live stream per week where I don't have an agenda and I just say whatever I want. Okay, speaking of which, I'm going to look at some comments and then I'll go back to talking about Mars and Gemini. Valentine, global equine populations post-introduction of the combustion engine. Tell me more, because what I think is like, did the populations go down? And then, is that making you think of like humans and AI? Because that is scary. The one thing I was saying this last week, this was just kind of like a free association. I was saying this last week, something about when Alex Karp came out with his manifesto, something that he said there made me think that Mars conjunct Uranus on July 4th had something to do with like the US introducing some sort of like control grid situation. But I don't remember why. I think it was just an intuitive hit. So that's not astrology. But it is like an intuition based on stuff I know because of astrology. So can you tell? I will never speak at a conference. I shouldn't say it like I shouldn't say that. I take that back. But can you tell him like? I insist too much on being fun and using other stuff besides astrology to be. I'm not going to finish this sentence. I don't know. It's the wrong attitude. I'm trying to have the right attitude. So Lisa said the World Cup is happening. Hopefully all will be fine. Yeah, the fact that the World Cup is happening during this time is pretty interesting. Pretty eyebrow raising. Theatrics of the absurd. Can you elaborate on Pluto corrupting everything it touches? That's what Pluto is. It's corruption. It's kind of like radioactive corruption that has a half-life. It's hidden. A part of what it is like undermining, underhanded things happening that you don't know are happening, and something that happens with stuff in our subconscious. Like if I'm acting out of my subconscious, I don't know I'm doing it. Like the place Pluto is in my chart, even after years of studying astrology, it's only been like a little bit recently where I'm starting to see like, oh, I see how I do that. Like try to control things in the place in my life where Pluto is in my chart. Oh, I see how I try to I underhandedly, I'm like almost subconsciously, almost like psychically trying to control things in this area of my life. And I genuinely don't know I'm doing it, but I think other people can see, and they see me that way, like trying to control stuff. So there is like, does that make sense? I think, just ask me follow-up questions. I think I explained it well enough to where it's like, it's literal corruption. It could be like corrosion or like radioactivity. The way radioactivity, like you can't see it, but it corrupts. And then like if you think about your subconscious and like you don't know you're doing it, but you're operating from motivations that are like almost in the collective subconscious, but not quite. Valentine. Big crash in regard to AI robotization, replacement of human labor. Okay. That's interesting. I don't know, that has me going off on several tangents, which is funny for like trying to talk about Mars and Gemini, and I'm thinking about too many other things. I can't stay on track. Very Mars and Gemini thing to do. The other thing, just stepping away from comments for a moment. The other thing about Mars, Uranus, and Gemini, even though like we have big major things that it signifies for the United States, it could be a bunch of things happening at once. Like there was like this, I saw this on social media, so I didn't see it on an official science research paper or anything, so I don't know what's real. Anyway, so this thing that I don't know if it's true or not is that the San Andreas fault is under particularly great amount of pressure. And so something I was thinking of is like, and the Mars Uranus stuff is supposed to be kind of intense over Los Angeles. So I kind of wonder if like it's multiple things. Is there like a big crazy earthquake, for instance, and some sort of other national emergency or crazy thing that I don't even know what it is and has no precedent because it's Mars Uranus, and like two things happening at once, and so then like either of those things might have like National Guard or many all systems go put on it if it were happening by itself. But since there are two things happening, then like resources are depleted, and that seems kind of Mars and Gemini as like multiple things. Theatrics of the absurd. Oh, that makes sense. All the data centers, nobody knows what the exact use for them are. I mean, I can get it. I mean, I feel like I understand why we need all these data centers. Like, the information collection needs to increase significantly in order to train AI, because AI has already been trained on like the entire internet and everything written, and now we need better alpha that's just like of people living. So that's like the constant surveillance. It's a part of the reason why like some sort of control grid will try to come into being, whether it works or not, because like everybody needs to be monitored. It's like the which I'm not knocking it at all, so please don't make. I think I used to take a very like anti stance to all of this, or it's like easy to talk about it from that place, but like whatever, this is the world we live in. I have a cell phone. It's a 24-hour-a-day tracker device that like I don't know if I would agree to that when I was like a child, but I have it and it's fine. So there's more stuff like that coming. Anyway, the example I was going to use was like the Midjourney medical body scanner is like, I think on Linus Tech Tips, he was like, there's no use of AI in this. And like Midjourney is a AI image generation. This is just a straight up body scanner. Like, but we need to make the AI better. We need more alpha, more information from new sources. So that's like full on 30 petaflops or whatever. I'm probably saying that wrong. Of data of like as many human bodies as possible. Sensor data, like every human being a sensor for the outside-in robot, the giant that is Pluto and Aquarius, that is AI. Does that? I think that was just like a poetic. I'm not going to finish that sentence. I think I like got my point across. Where I feel like I get. It seems plausible that the data centers, not being contrarian to you, but it seems like plausible that we need as much data center as possible for that end. Obviously, we don't need anything. There's like a Louis C.K. joke where like he's talking to God and he's like, I need money. And God's like, why do you need money? And he's like, for food. And God's like, I gave you so much food on this earth. Anyway, so yeah, we need it and we don't need it. Whatever, I'm not being contrarian. And then theatrics of the absurd. So Pluto in the 12th house means my subconscious is corrupted. No. It might mean, if you have Pluto in the 12th house, it could mean that you have very powerful subconscious experiences, or like you might have had like powerful experiences that shaped you that you don't even know about yet, or you don't even understand the degree to which they did shape you. And it could also be the 12th house is a place of hidden enemies. And that means, that usually sounds pretty scary, but that's just like people working at cross purpose to you, which is like, not everybody's trajectory is helpful to your trajectory. And not everybody considers you helpful to their trajectory. So people in the world, like everybody has a 12th house. Everybody has a context where like someone else has undermined them somehow. So that might be a little more intense with the 12th house. You might need to like watch your back more. And I don't mean that in a paranoid way. I mean that like wherever Pluto is, that's what we're going to keep an eye on stuff like that a little more. So like corrupt, maybe other people, your hidden enemies don't know they're doing it, that they're like trying to interfere with your affairs, or you have just really, maybe you have, the 12th house can be kind of like dreams that are about the past. Maybe you like travel the bardos and have horrifying experiences and to like get them off. They're sticky. The mind is like very sticky. That place you go in meditation is like a sticky, yucky, scary place, or a place of, or you've been through a lot, and when you get quiet, you can access that place of deep empowerment that comes only from ordeal, like the type of ordeal that you wouldn't wish on anybody. Can be deeply empowering after you survive it. It's like that which doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Does that make sense? I know literally nothing else. So normally with Pluto, with an outer planet like that, I would look at a lot of other things to be able to tell you more. Okay, so let me know if you have follow-up questions. Valentine, pay no attention to this guy. I'm just spitballing. Okay, I won't pay attention to you anymore. One of my most frequent commenters. I'll just ignore you. I'm kidding, obviously. Okay, Salisas. Yeah, I think it's on an angle on the West Coast. Need to double check. Yeah, okay, double check it for me. Thank you. I said she. I don't know. They. I don't know why. I think it's because I'm placing a feminine avatar on you because your profile picture is blue and pink, and that's presumptuous. Anyway, they were talking about the Mars-Uranus conjunction being on an angle on the West Coast. Okay. Theatrics of the absurd for surveillance. I don't remember what you're referring to, but like really any comment on any of my live streams could say for surveillance, which is a big keyword. Valentine. They're building data centers on graveyards and battlefields and places and along the UK ley lines. Oh, holy smokes. Those are all, that never occurred to me. That's really interesting if that's true. Graveyards and battlefields and ley lines. Wow. With the infrasound and stuff, too, it's not so far to think of them as astral nodes. What do you mean by astral nodes? But that's interesting. I think I intuitively understand what you're saying. Salinas, Mars, Uranus conjoins the IC in Los Angeles. Okay. Yeah, wow, that's very earthquakey, isn't it? That seems earthquake-ish to me. So it seems like, yeah, whatever. The thing I was saying about maybe two things happening or multiple things happening, and one of them is a big earthquake. I don't know. I love Los Angeles. It's my motherland. Okay. Okay, we're getting... Yes, that makes a lot of sense. Valentine is blushing. Theatrics of the absurd was saying that the data centers are for surveillance. Yeah. But also, like, the surveillance is all... I think not... This is funny coming from me. Maybe not as fully nefarious as we might think, because the surveillance is to gather alpha to train AI, to induce the singularity. That's my opinion. And when I say that, it sounds maybe like conspiratorial or something, or like I'm wearing a tinfoil hat, or I'm trying to say that's bad, but I'm not necessarily. It's just what's happening. I'm just saying it in a... I'm trying anyway, or I think I'm saying it in a like more objective way of like, that's just what's happening. They need like the surveillance isn't, even though like things are put in place that are going to take advantage of all that, but it's so much at once. So much is happening at once. Okay. So Lisa is she, her. Okay. Oh, very good. Okay. I'm glad I wasn't, comments about Venus probably to Jill. Well, I mean, everybody has Venus in their chart, so. But maybe, yeah. I don't know. Well, I'm glad. And thank you again for being here. And, yes, I'm an LA girl. That is not, I wish I were there, but maybe I don't. Okay. Oh, Low Pass Chiller, hello. The Statue of Liberty is going to kick a big... Okay, this is Low Pass Chiller's comment. The Statue of Liberty is going to kick a big hot ball into a Skynet so hard it contacts an alien intelligence who lands in the fault, the San Andreas Fault, and scans all our bodies, creating a giant data center of... Okay, I'm not going to say the last part because it's too gory. And that's not a judgment. That's just like... I look away when I watch gory stuff on television. I can't watch violence, so so I can't say that word. It's just like I'm that much of a delicate flower, believe it or not. But that's not anyway. Very creative. Like I wanted to say it, but I just can't. Okay, that's very creative. Thank you for that delineation. I enjoyed that. It seems legit. Not even kidding. Okay, Valentine, maybe intelligence or the field like Akashic Records, astral level stuff could very well end up being benign. Guess we'll find out. Wait, what could very well end up being benign? The Mars Uranus? Because I like that. Thank you. If that's what you're saying, if it's not what you're saying, let me know what you're saying. But if you're saying that the Mars Uranus thing could end up being benign, I like that. Because I haven't, I really haven't held any space for that, have I? That it could be benign or even good. And we know Mars is a malefic, so. But certainly for my own life, I've been trying to frame it as like, no, this is going to be good for me. So, yeah, let's hold that space for the entire world. Oh, AI. Not Mars Uranus, AI. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, all of the AI stuff is converging towards like a spiritual realm, and then we get like Pluto and Pisces later. So yeah, I agree with that. Maybe two could be Mars Uranus. Yes, we're going to go with it. Thank you. Okay, Low Pass Chiller, trying to put it all together. What? Don't apologize. You don't have anything to apologize for. Thank you for your very creative comment. Theatrics of the Absurd has a question for Valentine. People are talking to each other. I love this. Any new ideas right now? We kind of got to explore them. Weird times require weird ideas. Great point. Love it. Okay. Mars and Gemini. So we get the significance for the United States. Also, the Edward Snowden whistleblowing thing happened when Mars was in Gemini with Jupiter, not Uranus, but like, and then I believe Edward Snowden has Mars and Gemini in the first house. So that's the vibe. It's like a hacker vibe. And something I was talking about a lot when I was doing my weekly videos a couple of years ago. Valentine says, out-weird the weirdness. I agree. I agree. That's a good emote to have right now, for sure. Anyway, something that I was talking a lot about when I was doing my weekly videos a couple of years ago was the financialization of culture. And this is just like Mars and Gemini thing with Uranus and Gemini in general of like the money is going to change. That's a part of like something between now and 2032 is like the money is going to be really different. And that's why I was mentioning the blockchain smart contracts, because blockchain makes money. This programmable thing that's really different from, how we think of money now. Money becomes legal documents, titles, like NFTs, non-fungible tokens, those like dumb JPEGs you could buy a few years ago. Those are the future of property law. So money's going to get really different. And then there's the financialization of culture. And that's what we see. We can see. So I was talking about this before Polymarket was even a gleam in its daddy's eye. I can't believe I'm using that term. But now we can see that really well with like Polymarket and Kalshi. And there was that Bloomberg article from like 2020 called "You Can Securitize People Now." And then there's like meme coins. So the financialization of culture is a thing, just like stepping away from the United States story, even though not really. Like I think that will be involved because I think smart contracts and the Pluto return of the Constitution are all like entangled together. So, and in the metaverse, which is, everybody's like, oh, the metaverse didn't work, and like Meta put so much money into the metaverse and VR, and it's not like the metaverse is dead. Like, no, the metaverse is social media. That's what this is. It's the new economy. It's kind of the new government, and it's social media. It is the metaverse. So in the metaverse, which is where you are, where I am right now, is every interaction is a transaction. So a like, even though like quote unquote money is not necessarily being exchanged, it's still a transaction of some sort. So that's what I mean by the financialization of culture. And I already talked about Midjourney Medical and getting alpha for AI. But that's what I mean about like every interaction is a transaction, which is like, surveillance, because every time you like a photo, like all of it adds to your like quote unquote digital twin, which is what the algorithm is. It's your digital twin. It's a bunch of nodes and preferences symbolized by a Voronoi polyhedron. And then there's one outside of your polyhedron that like symbolizes the things that can influence you. And that's like, if you look at anybody's like obsidian in graph mode, that's a Voronoi. It's like a 2D version of it. Anyway, so financialization of culture, Mars and Gemini, Uranus and Gemini, money changing. I think that might be a part of what led me to thinking about control grid stuff with Mars, Uranus, and Gemini, because that's what that is. Like, it's like, okay, the money's changing all of a sudden. Hello, Bear Kotal. Neo beat the Matrix from inside the Matrix. Should we do the same, or all is lost? Yeah, do the same. I'm not going to say all is lost, because like nothing's ever lost. All endings result in some sort of beginning. But I like that. Yeah, beat the Matrix from inside the Matrix. That's like saying this for myself, but I honestly think that's just meditation. It's just like be the change you want to see in the world. So the true inside of the Matrix is in here. So yes. Theatrics of the absurd. You're looking at your agent's obsidian right now. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Valentine agrees with the theatrics. Thank you. Social capitalism. Yeah. Yeah. That's kind of what is going on. Theatrics of the absurd, replying to Valentine. Is this what I'm supposed to do? Is just now start reading people's comments to each other? Because I like doing it, but I'm like, oh, am I not supposed to do that? Am I supposed to just let people talk to each other? more like social capital. If you got 100K subscribers, you can make enough money to live. Yeah, that's the thing too. I mean, it's not, I think like that is what social capitalism turns out to be. But yeah, great point. Tanner, I've been sleeping so much these past few days. Yeah, with Mercury's condition. I wonder what your relationship with Mercury is in Mars, because like Mars is in a place where energy is difficult to access. Felt like I needed to rest up energetically. Yeah, get that rest. I love that. Me too. I actually had to do that today because I was throwing a baby fit over all of my technology. It's just like there's always something with the technology. And so I had to just like kind of like be like, okay, it's nap time. We're going to put ourselves down for a nap and wake up refreshed. Okay, so anyway, I talked about, I had something about the methodical demolition and joyful reconstruction of the government as the central theme of this upcoming era. That's what I wrote down from like my past videos about Mars Uranus in Gemini. So yeah, like let's break it and build back better. Is that that's kind of what that means. So I'm curious what this will be. Anyway, so Mars in Taurus, what I was saying was like it's sort of like identifying with the weight of like how difficult things are, and then there's going to be a big shift when Mars moves into Gemini, and it's like if Mars in Taurus is like heavy freight, Mars in Gemini is more like a swarm of bees. So it's like the energy really changes. And then Mercury. So let's all remind ourselves that this Mars in Gemini transit, when it enters Gemini, is going to be ruled by Mercury stationing retrograde. What a mess. Gives a lot of perspective to like what the Mars Uranus thing happens while Mercury is retrograde before the conjunction. So it's kind of like, pardon my language, but a clusterfuck. That's what it sounds like. Except that sounds more like a Mars and Taurus thing. What's like the swarm all over the place version of a clusterfuck? Because that makes me think like everything is kind of jammed. But this isn't. This is like everything is too free, too all over the place. Mars has been given too much license. Or Mars has taken the license because Uranus is kind of like a revolutionary signature. So Mars's condition is dependent on what's going on with Mercury, and Mercury is stationing retrograde. So just wow. So yeah, multiple things happening at once. And there might be, just in your own life, there might be just like, I think in the world and in everyone's life, like maybe some shit talking, a lot of talking shit. And in your own life, what I was going to say is like, there could be a risk of like, starting too many things and not finishing them. So keep that in mind. And I think Mars, Uranus, and Gemini, what type of demolition could this be? There is like, whether it is intentional or not, Mars, Uranus, I keep thinking of like move fast and break shit. Like that's something that's I'm not telling you to necessarily move fast and break shit, but that's the feeling. So some things are going to get broken. And I don't know what those things are. And it doesn't have to be, that's not anything. It doesn't have to be bad, but if what we're doing is astrology, we're looking at proceed with caution. So what else? Okay, and so basically like the actual conjunction happens next Friday, but it begins on Sunday at 12:30 p.m. Pacific time. And that's what I have for you. I'm going to look at some comments. Mercury station's Monday. Full moon in Capricorn is Monday. Jupiter moves into Leo on Monday. And Mars conjoins Uranus on Friday. Okay. Comments. Okay. So, am I Akachu Napkin? Am I saying your name right? I feel like there are 400 ways I could say it, and I'm probably not choosing the right one. Am I simultaneously streaming on YouTube? Yes. I'm embarrassed that hang on. Hang on. Oh my God. Oh, okay. I was embarrassed that I'm not even going to tell you. Am I simultaneously streaming on YouTube or something? Yeah, I am. Or at least I should be. If you go to YouTube and just type in the search bar at Hellington, I have the same handle as I do on here. And yeah, it looks like that's working. I have a little bit of PTSD because last week it didn't work and I don't know why. Bear Kodal, I'm coming back to ancestral practices. I'm from Mexico. All of a sudden I'm getting lots of attention and support, not just money, but maybe money, chance, Kinsey, something like that. I love that you're doing that. Our ancestors really need our help. And I have a very long-standing ancestral practice, and I have such deep appreciation for Mexico and how that's so prominent in the culture, because it's such a real thing. It's not just, I'm saying this from I think I say a lot of things as arguing in my head with a skeptic, but that the ancestral practices of Latin America are not just cultural, they're real. And so I have a significant ancestral practice. And something that I know is your ancestors are in communication with you if you have an ancestral practice. So I love that you're doing that. And I'm not surprised that you're getting attention and support, because I think it affects your luck, luck being partially a spiritual thing. Obviously, we don't want to engage in an ancestral practice only for the purposes of gain for ourselves. Also, I'm not saying that you're doing that, by the way. I didn't even get that from what you wrote. I'm just saying that for everybody else. But I love that you're doing that. It's so important. If you're considering having an ancestral practice, you don't have to do a whole giving food offerings to your ancestors. Although when I started doing that in a small way, I just started doing it in a very tiny way that I could handle, and it does do something, and I think they do really appreciate it. But you can start. I just started a few years ago with a prayer, an ancestral prayer that I do every night that acknowledges all of my ancestors by name, as far up as I care to go, as far up the tree. And I appreciate them for everything they went through that resulted in me being here. Okay, so I really went off on that. Thank you so much for that comment and for sharing with everybody that you do practice, you do ancestral work. Because I think it's so important. And even me, I do it in just, it's compared with someone who doesn't do it at all, it's a lot in a very deep relationship. Compared with someone much further along than me, I feel like I'm still a baby at it. Anyway, Theatrics of the Absurd. This non-conventional live stream is perfect. You have a unique perspective on astrology. Why, thank you. Thank you for saying that. And thank you for saying it in a way that caused me to read it out loud. It's always nice to hear myself compliment myself. I don't know why I'm being so self-aware. Bear Kodal, more support to healing practices. I don't know what, I guess that was an add-on to your previous comment, but hell yeah. Yes. I love that. Okay. Valentine, responding to theatrics, the monetization of human relationships. I realize that there's a point where when I get people talking to each other in the comments, I'm not going to start reading all the comments, but I'm doing it now. Just know it's not tone deaf. I'm doing it intentionally. The monetization of human relationships / interactions potential, but how much Pluto influence to bring it back around. Wait, I lost this. I don't know what you're talking about. I kind of do. And I know you weren't even talking to me. You're talking to Theatrics of the Absurd. And Valentine says that they are having fun. Thank you. And I thank you for having fun also and for saying that. Okay. Faithboy 683, I love your name and I love your avatar. What about Venus? What do you mean, what about Venus? At the beginning of this, so you can go back to the beginning of, if you go on YouTube to the live stream, it'll be posted afterwards. Wow, hang on, I gotta change. Oh my God. There's a setting I want to change and I can't change it right now. Anyway, what about Venus? So one major thing going on with Venus this week is on Thursday, Venus trines Saturn. And I talked about that at length in the beginning of the live stream, so you could just go back. And I'm not saying that to be like, I talked about that earlier. I'm just saying it to be like, I talked about it earlier, so you can just rewind it afterwards when it's posted or whatever, or right now. That's the main thing going on with Venus right now. Venus, we're going to have a Venus retrograde. Like, later. It's so embarrassing that I don't know the exact date. October. Venus stations retrograde, October 3rd. And what other Venus news can I tell you? Venus enters Virgo, where she's in her sign of fall, on July 9th. So enjoy Venus and Leo until then. I guess that's all I have to say about Venus right now. Okay. Okay, social theatrics of the absurd is talking about Social Security and Medicare. I do not know much. I don't know enough about these things to even comment that they want to take it away. Well, I'm sure like everything is up. There's so much on the chopping block, for sure. Valentine is accusing the World Cup people of stealing all the ranch dressing. Well, ranch dressing is delicious. And if you have never experienced the land of ranch dressing, then you might go a little crazy with those resources that you have access to. Okay, great discussion on ranch dressing as a commodity or a renewable resource. Paganism making a return as well. And what do we even mean by that? Because it's sort of like what this is, kind of. Doesn't paganism just mean not Christian? Again, I think sometimes I like risk sounding contrarian, but I'm not at all. I'm just talking to you. But even like I can feel it where I'm like, well, what even is paganism? Like, that is not a contrarian. I'm not arguing with you. I'm back and forthing. Hey, Bucephus. See, I don't know where to put the emphasis on the right syllable or whatever. Like, you told me how to say your name, but I still don't know how to say it. Family crests are so powerful. Sigil maxing. Yes, family crests are really powerful. Sigils never worked for me, though. And I heard, for me, specifically. And again, not being contrarian, just telling you stuff. That doesn't work for me. I mean, first, I don't even know. I think just because of, it's just my nativity specifically, I can't be like, I want to change this and change it. It's more like I have to go with the flow. That's me. But anyway, so when I do want to change something, me personally, not that like, I mean, I'm not being a contrarian, and this isn't a judgment. I'm just telling you, you said sigils. So anyway, sigils don't work for me. They've always, and I'm not trying to influence your opinion. Okay, never complain, never explain. So anyway, sigils creep me out. I don't like, I mean, I know that like any symbol can be one, so it doesn't have to be like the Austin Osman Spare style of like, take the letters and put them like this or whatever. But that creeps me out. That's like, oh, it gives me the ick. I don't like looking at them. I don't like making them. And they don't work for me anyway. So what I like, and I heard Mitch Horowitz say this one time, and it made me feel not crazy. He was like, sigils don't work for me. I just prefer prayer. And I was like, wow, that is something I vibe with. So that's my situation. I agree with that. I'm trying to like wiggle out of any sort of feeling of like I'm being contrarian or being judgmental against people who like to use sigils, because like what I know is that like different stuff works for different people. When I heard someone else say that sigils didn't work, I was like, oh great, I don't feel crazy, and also I don't have to like try to look at them anymore, because for some reason they give me the ick. But like people who use them or who are good at them or with whom they resonate don't give me the ick. So anyway, I prefer to be affirming about things. So Lisa, we will miss Venus as the evening star. Yeah, she's headed down. She's going down real soon. So like in the way at the beginning when I was saying like, ugh, this is like, this shirt I'm wearing symbolizes the underworld. This is what the underworld looks like. And Mercury is retrograde or stationing retrograde next week, headed into the underworld. So Venus is headed into this place, which she does not like. God, I love her as an evening star. Yeah, beautiful. Venus has been so beautiful. I've really been enjoying it too. Theatrics of the Absurd asks what was going to break. I don't remember. I don't even know if you're asking me. It's a good question about paganism, Valentine says. Ancestral worship would be considered pagan too, potentially. Yeah, totally. I mean, I got it right. Bucephus. Is that how I say it? Did I get it right again? Because I blacked out earlier when I said it. And I don't even remember what I said. Someday, this is just a running bit that I don't know how to say Bucephus's name. So, and like, I'm not going to say it again because everybody knows when you say it 3 times what happens. So yeah, one thing that I appreciate about like Christianity, like Protestantism, is just like, you don't have to do anything special. You don't have to do prayers. You just exist. You love God. You don't have to do this shit for your ancestors. They're watching you. You appreciate them. You don't have to do all that shit. And then I start to understand like, starting to take specific actions is like, why are you even doing that? Why aren't you just going with the flow, letting God handle it? There's such a fine line. And as a person who like, I have an ancestral practice, I do this stuff. Humans are a bridge between heaven and earth. And I'm like, Mars is my 9th ruler. And a part of what Mars is like rolling up your sleeves and having to like chop a path through the forest yourself, because God didn't do it. God put you here to do it. So that was a bunch of complicated thoughts. I think that was a complete thought. LAALPQ asks, how do I escape samsara? I think we start with meditation, but that's all I know so far. And I'm not even doing that very well right now. Check in later. Breathwork might help spur your inner singularity. which can get you out of samsara. Also, is it so bad? Is samsara so bad? That's a trick question. Okay, that's all I've got for you right now, but check back later. I might have other stuff. Valentine says that my character class is priest, not sorcerer. That's all 2d20 plus 2 modifier. I have no idea what that means. I love it, by the way, which tells you I don't know what it means. So if it's something that I shouldn't love, then cool. My character class is priest, not sorcerer. That's correct. Anytime maybe I try to be sorcerer, I end up being like, shut it down, everyone. Shut off the breaker. Bucephus. I said it right. There. Ugh, I said it a third time, so now I'm afraid of what's going to happen. Patrick is here. You missed it again. You did. It should be on YouTube instantly, though, when I'm done, as opposed to last week where it took 2 days for a low quality, no mic thing. I think my mic is working. I think the quality is good. My lighting's getting really strange. But thank you again. Thank you for just stopping by. I hope you enjoy watching the replay. And someday I almost put a thing in my Telegram group because I have one. I haven't touched it in a while because I was doing audio weekly updates, and then I was like, why am I doing this? Why am I just not doing it on YouTube? Be a big girl. Just do it on YouTube. So now I have this dormant Telegram, which I have no idea what to do with. I might put in it. What does everybody think for my 10 fans? I might put in one of those chat rooms where people can talk to each other. Anyway, I almost put a thing. I don't know, Patrick, if you're on the Telegram or not, but I have a problem with my email list too. So if you haven't received an email from me in months and months, it's not because, it is because something happened. And I'm not sending emails because I have this massive technical tangle. It's so annoying. Anyway, I was going to put a thing in the Telegram saying I was going live, and then I forgot because I keep having technical difficulties and just Mercury's retrograde. Anyway, thank you for stopping by. It was really nice to see you here, and and I'm sorry you missed it again. And I'm sorry they're so chaotic and I don't tell anybody when I'm going to do it. I just kind of show up. Yeah, Valentine, I'm priest class using prayer not sigils. Yes, that's correct. I identify with that hard. D&D or World of Warcraft. I don't even know what you're talking about. I mean, I do. I know what those things are, but I don't know what they're referring to. But I like it. Okay. D&D Advanced, second edition. Okay. I love that you're talking about this. I never played that stuff, but I'm familiar with it. For some reason, my heart is connected to it, even though I never myself played it. What else? Does anyone... Okay, so I've been live streaming for 2 hours, I think. I can safely wrap it up, unless anybody has a random topic they want me to talk about. Because I can't think of anything. Something I was going to do was make a fake oracle deck. Nope, Valentine was like, peace out. Nothing. Oh, hang on. Oh, low past Chillera. Okay, great. Are we in the age of Aquarius yet? How can we know that we are? My first, and this is not my first thing I want to say, and this is not, I'm not razzing you or whatever. I'm not, it's such an old-timey word. I'm not giving you a hard time. It's just what I want to say. Valentine, you're welcome. Thank you for saying thank you. Oh, you put on the alert. Thank you for doing that. That makes me really happy. Thank you so much. Okay, low past chiller. The thing I wanted to say, I have a bad habit of blurting out stuff and then it landing in a way that I don't want it to. So just to preempt it, I'm not being like, oh, what a stupid question. But the first thing I wanted to say was, who cares? So can you see why I set it up so much? Because that sounds like you have taken the time and energy to give me something to talk about, and then I insult you. So that's why I set all that up like that. Hopefully we're cool. So I forget when the exact quote unquote age of Aquarius actually like officially begins according to the precession of the equinoxes. Because, and this is a joke, this is like my stand-up now. In the stand-up comedy version of this, I would say, because I don't care. Obviously it is a thing, and it's like great eras, but something that amounts to feeling like we're in a very Aquarian era is like we're quote unquote in the age of Aquarius as far as I'm concerned. Not the technical precession of the equinoxes, great age yet. I don't believe that is yet. I think that's a little further down the line. But basically, so we're having all these transits through Aquarius. We had Saturn, we had those crazy Mars-Saturn conjunctions in Aquarius, and now Pluto is transiting Aquarius through 2044. So in addition to down the line, we will have the official like astronomical event of age of Aquarius according to the precession of the equinoxes. There's also just astrology happening in the sign of Aquarius, in mundane astrology, that makes things feel a little more Aquarian. And then outside of that, I would say that it is a great age, Aquarius. So there's naturally going to be, it's not just like age of Aquarius. These are such long-term things that we also get long-term on-ramp and off-ramp. The same as when, like, you can kind of see with, like, Neptune in Aries. When Neptune officially entered Aries, some shit went down. There were I'm saying a lot of bad words today. There were a lot of bullshit fights. There was a vibe shift. But we could also see some of the Neptune and Aries stuff, some of the stuff that Neptune and Aries signifies, we could also see that coming in before Neptune entered Aries officially, because it's a long-term transit and it has like a long-term setup to the actual transit. Does that make sense? Did I answer that? Have I given... have I provided a place where you can get more footing on that idea? I hope that I have, despite being flippant. I will wait for your answer, Low Pass Chiller, while I read Ardquark777's comment. Harmony, I just want to say I love your work. Long-time follower, email subscriber. Thank you for your awesome insight. Hey, thank you for saying that. Thank you for being here and for saying that. And for being an email subscriber. I'm sorry you haven't received any emails. I'm having hey, anyone here, by the way, thank you for, I thanked you enough. Thank you for saying that and for saying you're an email subscriber. Anyone here who subscribed to my emails that came from my voyage.earth address, please add hellington.net to your address book, because I think I'm going to change it. And if you want to sign up for my emails, you can't even do that right now, because I don't even think I have an opt-in posted anywhere. That's like, my emails have been going through a dark night of the soul. Thank you for being an email subscriber, Ardquark. I'm excited to get back to sending emails. My emails are good, by the way. If you've never read one of my emails, they're not like normal people emails. And I mean, sometimes they get into that territory, but mostly not. And Okay, so if you want to sign up for my emails, you can DM me on Instagram and make sure that the first word of your DM to me is email, because I get a lot of DMs from weirdos and even people who I know aren't weirdos who DM me. Even you know that it could take me 7 days or more to read your DM because I'm afraid. I feel like anytime I get a DM, I feel like, what did I do? What is this, a creep showing me, saying something that I don't even want to see, that I have to use my intuition to not even look at? Or is it like, did I get in trouble? Did I do something wrong? Or is this like a demand? Even nice people who I like clients or friends, I don't read their DMs for days because I just have to mentally prepare for the fact that I have a DM and it happens and it's an endless stream forever. It's just like, I have 100 DMs that I need to read. And then most of them I don't. So just make sure that if you want to sign up for my emails, if you're inspired to right now, DM me and make sure the word email is the first letter, first word of your DM. Okay. Valentine confirms that my emails are excellent. Thank you. Thank you for your testimony. Low Pass Chiller, my explanation was great. Thank you. It's a long-term shift that we're in the middle of right now. And also, who gives a shit? Yeah, exactly. Great. You know, something I was thinking too, this is like a random thought, is that the age of Aquarius, for us, very, very long, in the spirit of like the very, very long on-ramp, something I toss around a lot in my brain is like, the age of Aquarius for this time kind of started with like public school and youth culture. And I think of like the 1920s being like the first like soft suggestion of like what is now youth culture, which runs fucking everything. And how it didn't used to be that way. Like adults used to run the world. And now it's like adults run the world through the lens of this like fetishization of youth. Can you tell? I'll be 45 this year. But I've always felt like this actually. Like even when I was like 19, my favorite bands were bands that were popular around the time I was born. And all the music, the whole time I was I think there was maybe like a small segment of like, maybe like 7th through 10th grade where I was into the popular music at the time. But like after that, it was just like, what is this? I feel old. What is this garbage that the kids are listening to? Even stuff like, okay, I'm losing my train of thought. Anyway, I mean, there's stuff, it's just like, I think I have a natural attunement to just like, I don't need to over-explain myself. Anyway, so yeah, public school, the 1920s, youth culture, beginning an age of Aquarius. And now we have the thing that's happening with like boomers, and there's a narrative around like quote unquote boomers, and like my parents aren't exactly boomers. They're too young to be boomers, but my grandparents are too old to be boomers. They're like beyond your comprehension of whatever age, generation they are. Nobody knows. So anyway, so there's like the narrative of like the quote unquote boomers have like the resources and they want to prolong their lives, and they have all the wealth, and there's that whole thing. I don't know how much, like, I think there are parts of it that are like happening, but I think there are other parts that are being sensationalized so as to cause divides. Because another thing, like the age of Aquarius is like dividing people up into their little groups, like youth culture or retirement home. Like Aquarius is also like all the old people together in one place, and not like families taking care of each other, like as they do this more in Mexico, where like grandma lives with you, not in a retirement home. Anyway, not like, whatever. Not, that doesn't even have to be a bad thing. But it often is. The like nursing home situation. Because it's harder to like, whatever, like, I guess it depends on your family, depends on your situation, depends on your finances, I guess. Anyway, what I'm saying is, who gives a shit? And also, in terms of the long-term shift, the idea of like putting people into these groups, like, have you seen the movie Midsummer, where everyone lives, it's all communal, but then like the little children live together, and the young adults live together, and the parent adults live together, and the old people live together. They all have like their little groups. That's very Aquarius. An age of a quote unquote age of Aquarius is like these groups of people, and like the line in the sand of like, are you this or are you that? Amounting in groups. Okay, I guess that's all I have to say about it. But thank you for such a juicy question. Yusuf, why are you so cooked this week? Oh, Mercury is stationing. It sucks. It's so Mercury stations retrograde on Monday, and for me, so Mercury technically isn't retrograde yet, but for me, the shadow period, the period where Mercury transits the degrees it's about to retrograde back through, is often like way more glitchy for me personally than even the beginning of the retrograde, even though that can be pretty bad too. So that's why I think you're so cooked this week. But it could be other stuff. It depends on your... Oh, and then Saliza says Mercury probably, which yes, thank you. Thank you for helping. Okay. Theatrics of the Absurd says, intuition said, nah, just skip the DMs. That's mostly what I do. So anyone who DMs me, if it took me 7 days to read your DMs and then another 7 days to reply, if ever, it's just, I don't have a lot of energy for social stuff, which sucks for me. It's not good for me. It's bad for me. I'm trying to get better at it. I'm trying to have like some sort of a system. It's not Claude yet, unfortunately. Or fortunately. If you get a DM from me, it's real, unless it's like a mini chat thing. But you can tell. You can tell when it's that because it looks different. Okay. Valentine got drunk and complained about the last 2 seasons of Attack on... Oh, yeah. I liked all of Attack on Titan, but I like horrible things. I also didn't have a problem with the end of Game of Thrones, so... Aardquark confirms my emails are wonderful. See? So DM me to sign up for my emails, and if the first word of your DM is not email, then you're DMing me for no reason other than to have me maybe read it at some point and maybe reply to you at some point, but that's maybe. They are pure poetry with so many historical references, artwork, and citations, so many sources to dive into and contemplate. Thank you so much for saying that. Thank you for bringing that to the attention of anyone here who might not be subscribed to my emails. Theatrics of the Absurd, for some reason, has said Van Halen, and I don't know why, but also, hell yeah. Okay, great. I guess I'm going to wrap it up right here. Thank you, everybody, for being here, especially anyone who's been here the whole 2 hours and 20 minutes. I'll see you next week.